Hello and welcome to Medieval Dynasty. Well, we are now up to chapter 3 and that's more to do with, it's more to do with diplomacy than anything. It's a case of you have to complete quests for people. Now, we actually did one quest because right at the start of the game I wanted to cover the idea of quests. In hindsight, it probably made sense if I left it until now anyway. But we've already got one quest done, and it's a case of to complete chapter 3, we need to actually do quests for 3 people. So in my case, I've just got 2 more quests left to do. There's also Unigost. Unigost's got a quite long quest line, if you will. He gives you lots of quests to do. So I may as well do that. And basically what it is you get rewards from people for doing quests for them. I mean, you get money, you get tools, you get weapons, you get clothing. There's all sorts of different things people will give you. One of the main things, though, is Dynasty Reputation. When you do these chapters as well, you also get Dynasty Reputation. That's pretty important because that kind of like governs things like, well, how many people you can recruit, how many buildings you can make, and so on. So you are kind of limited if you're not getting your Dynasty level boosted up. So it's a good enough reason to be doing that. So at the moment I'm just making a mad beeline. I'm trying to run as much as I can down to here. So when it comes to quests, where you see an exclamation mark around a village, that's where there is somebody who has a quest to do. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that if you don't get a quest completed before the end of a season, then that's it. You lose that quest, you lose Dynasty Reputation. It's not good, basically. And it's a bit tricky, I must admit, as I explained in chapter 1, in that you don't necessarily know what the person's going to ask for. You'll get a rough idea because it might be a case of I want you to gather something or something, but they're not specific enough. So if they ask you to craft something, but they don't tell you what it is, the problem is if you'll accept the quest with no idea what it is you've actually got to do, and then you might find out, well, I can't actually do it. I'm not that far enough in the technology tree to be able to, make you a composite bow or whatever it is. I can't do it, and you're kind of stuck because then it's a case of you're gonna lose that quest, and it's a case of you're gonna get punished as a result. So yeah. Usually what I tend to do is just save the game. You've got an option for a quick save. You can do manual saves, but if you hit F5 you can also do a quick save. I think it's F9 to restore it. Where you see a question mark, like that one there, that's more to do with where you've actually got a quest already open with somebody. Now, Unigost does have his own quest line, so I'm going to see if I can find him. In fact, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that as the active one. So the active quest's got the little parchment and quill against it. So he's up there. So fortunately, it actually shows you on the map where people are. So let's just have a chat with him. Okay, so we've got the house. That's good. Okay, yeah, we've been doing some hunting. Okay, so this is good. So this is a quest he's going to offer us. Right, so he wants us to go and talk to Sambo. So Sambo is a hunter. He lives on his own in this area. The trouble is, there's wolves out there. That's something to bear in mind. So you can see it says Unigost Story Part 1, because there's quite a few things he'll want you to do. So the trouble is, Sambo's up there, and around this area there are wolves. So it's like you can run into wolves, and I find them very tricky to deal with, especially when there's a lot of them. Anyway, as far as the chapter goes, it's asking us to complete quests for 2 more people. We've also got to be successful with doing some flirting. So this is quite good because it boosts your diplomacy skill. So if, like I was saying, I think in chapter 1, typically people who are hanging around this area where you've got these campsites, they tend to be people you can recruit. Not all the time, but most of the time. And the thing is, they actually move. They'll stay in one place for the duration of a season, and then they'll move somewhere else. So if I hold down the inspector mode, it actually tells you what sort of skills these people have. Now, this person here, she's actually a vendor. It shows you just above her head where she's got this little bag, so she's actually a vendor. So what I can do is I can buy things from her. So she's selling various, types of food and so on, which is useful. So we can buy food from her, for example. It's pretty expensive, I must admit. We can sell things to her as well, and it really doesn't matter what it is you want to sell. They don't care. They'll all be able to sell you certain things, and you'll be able to sell whatever you like to them. So it really doesn't matter. Now, in order to boost your actual diplomacy, it's a case of actually talking to people. So by default, we're sitting at an approval rating of 50%. So if I want to actually have a conversation with her, I'll just select option 2, which is, hey, do you have a minute? And now it's a case of, sure, what it is, that's what she's asking. Now the trouble is, there's going to be 2 answers or questions I can ask her, and chances are one of them, or at least potentially both of them, might actually have a negative result. Now I can ask her how she's been in this case, or I can tell her that I've been out working in the field. Now, not everybody's particularly interested about me working in the field. Usually people who themselves work in the field do, but in this case I'll just be polite and ask her how she's been doing. So that's got her attention. She's saying it's boosted her approval up to 55%, so I can ask her again. And again, that option 2, I'm not so sure, because she's a vendor, so I'm not sure if that would work with her. On the other hand, if you ask her about any gossiping, she may not be interested, so that might go against me, so it's difficult to tell which way this is going to go. But yeah, because like option 2 is more like something I've been bragging about. Now option 1, yeah, it's a bit tricky. So I can ask her, but the risk is the approval rating will go down. Right, okay, so in that case, she wasn't even particularly interested, so at least it hasn't done anything. So if I ask her again, I've run out of options. If they actually come back with a negative opinion, that's it. That ends the conversation there and then. So that that can go against you. But the good thing is it boosts your approval by your diplomacy, I should say. And the idea is you've just got to keep pushing approval. Now, when it comes to people like Bertold here, this is somebody who I could potentially recruit. So if I go and ask him there, I say like, oh, I'm creating a new settlement and I'm looking for somebody willing to join me. It's saying I need to get his approval to level 70 before he'll be interested in something like that. So it always pays, I think, to actually have a look at the sort of skills they've got. So if you go into inspector mode, it shows you the skill levels they've got. Now, I think early on when this game came out, the skill levels tended to be higher. When I started playing it, the highest I've seen is these level 3s. So he's a good hunter, for example. He would be good at the fishing. And if we look at, well, I'll actually show you the skills, because there's the little symbol. So that one there is somebody who's good at survival. So they'll be good at gathering things, or they'll be good at fishing. Hunting, yeah, so they'll be good at archery, that sort of stuff. That one I'm a bit puzzled, because that's somebody who's good at diplomacy, so I'm not sure how an NPC would benefit you there, but somebody who's good at extraction, they'll be able to chop the trees down, do mining. Somebody who's good at crafting, or production, as it's called here, they're good at crafting things for you, doing the blacksmithing work, sewing and cooking. Then obviously you've got your farming. Now, there's 2 different sides to that. These are people who will either be able to go into the farms and grow you crops, people who will be able to look after your animals as well, or people who will be able to convert your crops, the grains and all that stuff into things. So there's lots of different skills you can get, and it's a case of holding down the Alt key when that gets you into inspector mode, and then you'll be able to get some info out of that. Now, again, I need about 70%. The other thing with chapter 3 is you've got to be successful at flirting with somebody, which means you've got to, well, yeah, that's going to be tricky, because the idea is with this game is you've actually got to not only do you have to boost the approval rating, you've got to actually boost the flirting level with them. So if I ask her, You can see I've got an approval rating of 50% with her. Now, she's only 19, I must admit. I think we're like 20, 21. Now, if you want to flirt with them, you go with option 1. So I've got... Yeah, so the problem is I can't flirt with her until I boost the approval rating. So I've got to go through that process with her again. Option 2... Alright, so okay, I can't... Alright, so it's option 3 on this one. It gets a bit confusing because of that. Right, so it's option 3. I can't remember if she was into hunting or not. But anyway, I'll ask her this one anyway. Okay, so up to 62%. Right, so I can now... You can see we've got an affection rating of 0%, whereas before we didn't have any affection rating. So let's see if we can do that now. Yes, we can. Right. Now, there's no point asking her that, asking her to marry us, because we've got 0 chance of doing that. Every time we boost the affection rating, it increases the chances that we'll be able to get her to marry us. Now, that's bragging. Yeah, I think that could be bragging, so I might not get away with that. So I'll try option 3. Yeah, so that's actually -2, so we lost affection because of that. That went against me. I don't think I would have gotten potentially against option 2, but if I try that again, that's about a noble, so that's difficult. Now that particular case, that option paid off, so getting a bonus of 5 on that one. A minute. Oh, that got us up to 72%. Oh, so it's still allowing us to talk to her, because sometimes it caps out about maybe 2, but yeah, it is nice weather, so I'll ask her that one. Oh no, she didn't like that. Oh dear. So that's pretty much just killed off this conversation. Yeah, I can't try and flirt with her either, because it's a case of she wasn't impressed by us before. So right, yeah, it's telling us about a wife basically, because the idea is with this game, it's not just about you surviving; it's about your lineage surviving. So it's a case of if you die and your heir's old enough, then they can take over and can continue. That's the theory of the game, anyway. So let's see, can we talk to Bertold anymore? Oh, okay, we've got a bit successful by asking about the hunting. Oh yes, we're up at 60%. Right, okay, so he doesn't want to talk to us anymore, so that's my limit. So the thing to bear in mind is that you can only ask somebody so many questions, and that's for the entirety of that day. So if I come back tomorrow, I'll be able to talk to these people some more. In the meantime, I need to find some quests, because I need 2 more quests. So there's supposedly somebody close by, because looking at the compass I can see these little white exclamation marks suggesting somebody nearby wants us to do a job for them. So I'm going to do a quick save. Alright, so he wants us to do something, so this might not be too bad, because he's just after resources. Well, that's okay. So he just wants logs and sticks. That's pretty easy enough to do. Now, we're going to get, as well as the Dynasty reputation, we're actually going to get some building technology, which is good. So that's going to boost this. I mean, we're up to 181 so far. So that's quite useful. So I may as well get started on that. So he wants 6 logs and he wants 45 sticks. So it's kind of useful in that, especially because we're so early in to the game. By chopping all this lot down, I'm going to get experience from doing it anyway. So these chapters are the kind of think of it as like the tutorial, if you will, of the game. So it's a good. I quite like that idea. It's definitely an interesting way of doing a tutorial. Yeah, to get used to it. Some of the sort of games I've seen, it's a case of you play the tutorial and that's it. Then you actually play the game. Whereas this is a complete continuation. And it is open. I mean, there's nothing force you to go down that specific path, although chances are you'd probably be doing it anyway. Now, I'm overloaded at the moment, but what I can do is I can actually go back to him, and I can actually give him these items. So I can give him the actual logs, I can give him the sticks, and then it's just a case of going out and getting the rest. So I don't have to like hand everything over at once. Yes, so it's now showing 6 of 6 for the logs and 12 of 45 for the sticks. So that's quite useful. So we'll just gather some more sticks. So we need another bunch of them, and then we can hand them over. This is the easiest way to get them, is just off these little saplings, because you get more than just the one. I think there's, I mean, those logs, you don't necessarily have to pick them all up. I mean, I could potentially pick them up, take them back to base, or I could actually sell them off. In fact, actually, I think that's what I might do. I think I might chop that into a spear and sell that off while I'm here. I may as well. Right, so we'll go back. So we should have enough to complete this quest. Oh, come here! Thank you. Right, so that's that one done. So right, let's get back to our original quest, which is chapter 3, really. Yeah, I can select it properly. Yeah, right, so we've now completed 2 quests. So I need one more. So there's a lot of sort of like perks you get out of this, because it's a case of you'll get, when you're collecting resources in particular, you're getting the experience from doing all that harvesting and so on, chopping things down. You're also getting whatever bonuses you get from taking on the quest, the rewards and what have you. It's not you. No, it's not you either. Aha! Right, tell you what. I'm going to quick save this just to be on the safe side. Oh, he wants an axe. Oh, that's all right. Unless he's asking for a very like high level one. Right, that's okay. So he wants stone axe. So that's okay. So the reward on that one's not too bad actually, because we're getting dynasty reputation as well as the production technology. It's usually better than just a few coins, I must admit. So I'm gonna have to find some stones, I suspect. Having said that, I could also just always just give him mine. There's no harm. I mean, mine's probably getting worn out anyway. Right, so how many do we need? So we could... yeah, we could make one. So I've already got one on me, so I think what I'll do is... I mean, mine's like almost half worn out, but I can sell on that one. And then I'll just make a completely new one. So that's good. So I'll now make myself a new axe. So the next thing we need to do really is we've got to be successful at flirting. So we'll try the next village. So there's one just across the lake or river, if you will. Because part of this game is, yeah, I must admit, it definitely puts a spin on things, this idea that it's not just about you surviving, it's your lineage. Oh, I'm running out of stamina. It's all about your actual lineage surviving. So the idea is you build up this big dynasty and then it continues with your offspring. So I quite like that idea, I must admit. Potentially there's no end to it. So it's like, okay, I don't know if at some point, how far down the line you're just going to give up or something, but it's definitely an interesting game, I'll give it that. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is NPCs do go to sleep, except for these ones that you can actually hire. Those ones, they just hang around. You'll always usually find them around by the fire. It's just that you've got to be bearing in mind that they'll move each season. So you can only talk to them so many times each day. And then, yeah, if you haven't managed to actually convince somebody to join your crew or something, you're kind of stuck. So there's one person over there, there's two of them over there. Now she's a vendor, so we can't really chat her up. She's probably already married anyway. Yeah, I think I can see me going over, because ideally what I find is it's good to try and find somebody who can help you back at your village. Now, none of these women here are showing any of these signs, you know, skill levels. So it's a case of I've no idea. Even if I could actually, you know, get one to marry me, I've got no idea how good they'd be. Whereas if you think of, you know, we've got people like these who've got skill levels above them, so at least I know what I'd be getting into. So there's two aspects of it. I mean, you've got to think about actually somebody who's, you know, who's going to give you a child, but also somebody who's going to be able to help you do work in your village. So we weren't really successful there, so I'm going to try up here. There's two villages up there, so we've done the quests, but we need to do we need to be successful with flirting. Now in this particular season, which is, because we're into summer now, oh, foxes. What you can do is you can actually gather the berries now, which is quite good. In the spring you couldn't, whereas in the summer and the autumn you can. Oh, I'm gonna have to be careful. Those are Wyson, and they can be pretty brutal. Something like that I can take down with a bow, but yeah, with just a spear, which is the level we're at the minute, that's tricky, I must admit. One thing it's worth doing, I must admit, is letting food rot. Because later on in the game, when you're starting to do your farming, you're going to need manure. Actually, I think while I'm up here, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'll just stick with chapter 3 for now. Yeah, while you're into like early stages of farming, you need fertilizer, and yeah, that's pretty tricky. Well, it's very expensive to get a hold of. You've got to pay for it. Through vendors, you've got to buy it from them. But if you let food spoil it, it actually rots. And the good that actually can be converted into manure or fertilizer. So almost there. I mean, I suppose following the roads would take you forever to get somewhere, but I mean, it'll get you where you need to be. But it just takes a longer time, I think. Right, so here's another place here, so we'll see if we can find anybody here. So there's potentially somebody back at the first village we were at. No luck there, that last one, so we'll try here. Actually, what time is it? It's getting about 7:15. So most of these people will start going to sleep, but the people that we can recruit won't. They'll just hang around. Now, there's nobody here. Oh, that's bad luck. Right, so there's nobody here that we can talk to. I mean, we can still boost our sort of like our diplomacy level. We've got +10 for that. +10 for that. Oh, same question again. But that's our limit now. We can't go any further because you can only ask people so many questions. Right, so now we've got to move on to Branniger. That's actually not too far away. While we're over here, there's actually a mine here, which is extremely useful. Because later on in the game, you'll be wondering things like, like the copper, the iron, tin, because then you'll be able to make much better weapons. So just out of curiosity, there are more than just one mine. There's mines dotted around the map. I'm just curious if they're going to leave anything here. So yeah, this is good. So they've actually left a stone pickaxe here. There's actually some ore there as well. That's quite useful. Oh, we're carrying too much. Ah, ooey. But inside here, for instance, we can actually start mining copper, for example. There's salt you can mine as well. Further and deeper in, you'll be able to start. Oh, that's broke. Further and deeper in, you can start to mine iron as well. So you can do some mining inside an actual mine like that, and then you can make yourself much better tools, for example. But it's way too early for us to be doing that sort of thing. Actually, I don't want that. I actually wanted the torch, but I'm nowhere near any straw. I wonder if I can lose some of this weight. Carrying maybe a lot of meat up. That's weighed about 3.2, so we're just slightly over. Ooh, not too far. I don't want to push it too far though, because it's like there's no point wasting it. So we'll check here and we'll find out if anybody here is interested. Because we need it, because just the way the game, I mean, it plays on that, medieval dynasty. The whole concept of the game is it's not just about you surviving. It's about you creating a dynasty. So for that reason, you have to get married. You have to have kids. The only drawback with that is the mother. She'll start off where she can actually do work. And she'll be able to, extract things, harvest things, cook things, farm things. She'll be able to help you for, I think it's about 2 years after she's had the kid that you can't do that. She won't be able to do that, unfortunately. Now, I'm not recruiting anybody at the moment other than whoever it is I'm going to marry. That's because that's the plan. I want to try and solve 2 things here, because when you're recruiting people, they need somewhere to live. Now, if this is going to be somebody who marries you, they can actually move into your house. But you can't actually recruit anyone. Well, you can actually recruit somebody if you've got nowhere for them to live. The only trouble is they'll leave pretty quickly because the morale seriously plummets. And it's a case of you're going to have to build them a house. So it makes more sense to build... Oh, struck twice. It makes more sense to build them a house first. And we're nowhere near that. At this stage, I just want to get this chapter 3 moving along, which is being successful at flirting. But I need to find somebody who can do that with. Berries, berries, and berries. Oh, that was a fox. I can just... Now, foxes don't attack you unless you attack them. A boar. If a boar catches sight of you, it will come after you. So will a wolf. And they can both do a lot of damage. The deer and the rabbits, obviously, they just run away. I don't know if I'll have much joy up here, but we'll see. The other places down here, these are quite a distance to travel. It takes ages to travel to these places. But we'll try this, we'll see. I mean, the trouble is I'm overweight, so I can't sprint. So we'll see if there's anybody up here. There should be somebody over at the next village. I'm not so sure about this place, that's all. Ah, so we've got somebody here who sells horses. Ah, right, okay, so they're actually... Oh, that's interesting, they're moving. Ah. Okay, let's try this. So, have you got a minute? How's a job doing? Oh, yes, we're up to 12, so we could try and flirt with her. Oh, she's 28 now. 20. Oh, foobar. So at least I can try and Boost her approval. I may as well do that because at least I'll get better at diplomacy then. Oh no, well, that went against me. So that sucks because let's see if we go to our inventory. So Rasamir at the moment we're only 18, so she was 28. So it's like no, you're too young. You're just a kid. So there's nobody else around here. But here they'll actually sell. You can buy donkeys over here, which is quite cool. I think this is where you can. Yeah, so she'll be able to sell you things like donkeys. Now, that's early days though, because you need the technology to be able to build an actual stable to be able to do that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going over to Rolnaga. We'll try that place next. What do you hear? I mean, even at night, I mean, it is late at night, but there's usually people sitting around the fire. Everybody else you see has gone to sleep. So that goes against me then, so I think I'll have to go down to here next and see if I can be more successful there. I mean, what I should have done really, I should have sold some of this stuff off because I'm carrying quite extra weight with spears, for example. Could have really made some money and just sold those off to a vendor while I had the chance. And I think I'll just drop them off back at the house, and then we'll go on to the next village. Okay, so we've got a couple of people here. Now, yeah, trouble is, her levels aren't particularly high. So while I'm here, I'm just gonna do a quick save. I'm just gonna ask her what she wants to do as a quest. Oh, it's too late. Ah, ooey. Yeah, I'll have to come back earlier in the day. So there's one person over there we can ask. These are just too far away. I mean, I could walk down there, but it just takes forever. I suppose we could at least talk with them anyway. Got any hunting tips? Oh, okay, +2. How you been doing? Oh, 62%. So right, we've crossed the 60% limits, which means I can start to flirt with them. Oh, go for option 3 maybe? Yes. So we're getting +5 on her affection. So we were successful with flirting with her. So that's all we needed for chapter 3, I think. Or did we? Yes, we did. So we didn't actually need to get married, we just needed to be able to flirt with somebody. So let's see if we can try option 3. Yep, that worked. So basically with this I'm really just chatting her up to try to get my diplomacy improved. The thing is, we're only 18, she's 27, so chances are she would be interested anyway. Well, actually I haven't said that, the other one was 28, so she didn't, she just cut us off straight away anyway. You've got a minute. How have you been? Ooh, 72%. So at 72% we could ask her to come and work for us, but the thing that gets me is she's only at level 2 at best in some of those skills. Level 3 seems to be the highest, and what I've found is over time when they do work those skills do improve, so the levels do get better. So that's not bad. So do you have a minute? Nope, can't talk anymore. Nope, can't talk anymore at all. Right, see if I can get at least some diplomacy skills here going. interested in hunting? Oh, just a bit. Nice weather. Oh yeah, that's good. Got any more? Yeah, we've got more time. How about option 1? We've been working in the field. Yep, managed to improve him. So we're up to 67% on his approval rating. But that's it. We've capped out now. So looks like we've got a boost to diplomacy. So now that's actually quite good because it's kind of like a bit tricky here because I know we could get more. I'm not too concerned about that, I must admit, this dynasty reputation, because we seem to get quite a lot, at least early while I've been playing it before, I was getting quite a lot of that through the chapters anyway. That one, I think the whole idea is to boost the skill itself, so I think I'm more inclined to go with that. I mean, you could go for that one and then you could get more affection points, but it's pretty much just a one-off. So I think I'll go with that one, put the skill into that. Now, technology-wise, we could go for things like woodsheds and so on now. Still not there for the hunting lodge. We haven't done anything for farming yet. We could build a workshop as well, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain that it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think because we've got somebody here, while I'm here, I may as well just stay around to be able to get, you know, some sort of quest possibly. But we're now up to chapter 4 really, which is build a hunting lodge, and then you've got to hunt 3 foxes and 3 boars. You don't necessarily need a hunting lodge to do that, but it's a case of, interestingly, that didn't carry through because I have actually taken a boar down, so that didn't carry through. Whereas the quests, you know, previous quests, when we were doing chapter 3, yeah, I'd already asked somebody for a quest early on in the game, and that showed up in the requirements for chapter 3 as being a successful quest done. Now here, I know I've actually killed a boar while I've been playing the game, but that hasn't carried through, so well, that's interesting. Some things, you know, if you've already done them in advance, it counts, whereas in some cases it doesn't. So I know there are boars around this area, but that's really chapter 4. My interest, I think, is going to be, I'm just going to do things like gathering and what have you, I think, because there's not much time. It's only about 4:15 anyway. So I'm going to have a look around and see if I can find anything to gather, things like berries, for instance. Because the good thing about all that is it'll rot. If it's left too long, it'll just rot anyway. So I may as well be doing something while I'm here. And then what I'll do is I'll have a chat with her and see what it is she wants us to do. Because all those extra skills, all that extra work, it should boost my dynasty reputation. So yeah, I think I'll just hang around here for now. Because I don't think these berries actually weigh much. So I should be able to gather quite a lot, but even if I don't eat them, it's a case if I can keep them, let them rot, and then I'll be able to use them later on for things like fertilizer. Or the alternative is you can sell them. I just don't think, these days I don't think they're worth much. Yeah, they're not worth much. They used to be worth quite a lot. So it's quite common to gather a lot of berries and then just sell them off, but you can't, yeah, you can't get as much now. So I'm just going to get on with this, and then once she's out of bed, we can have a chat with her and at least get one more quest under our belt. Ah, so you're finally awake. Right, what do you want to do? Oh, actually, quick save. What do you want doing then? Ah, no. This quest, I must admit, is an interesting one because what they want you to do is to chop trees down. But interesting enough, it doesn't matter where you chop the trees down. So if we actually go back home and chop trees down, that should count. So it says chop down 10 trees. So we're going to get Dynasty Reputation plus Farming Technology for that. So I do like these quests, I must admit. So as long as I get this done before the season ends though, then we're fine. It's just a matter of, yeah, we can go back to our home and chop a bunch of trees down. But there is something else to do now. Now we're up at chapter 4, because chapter 4 is going to get us 100 Dynasty Reputation. So that's quite tempting, I must admit, because we need to hunt down foxes and we need to hunt down boars, and both of them are actually nearby. But that, well, that's for another episode.